Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss a beautiful poem called A Considerable Speck, which is written by Robert Frost. So if you see the title of the poem, it is A Considerable Speck is actually an oxymoron. Oxymoron is when two contradictory words are put together. So here a considerable means something large and speck means something small or tiny. Okay, so if we look at the overview of the layout of the poem has in total 33 lines in various rhyming schemes. So usually when we see a poem, it has a particular type of rhyming scheme or it is in free verse. But here, various lines have various kinds of rhyming schemes, which we will go through later. Also, the literary device that is used in this poem is enjambment. Enjambment is that one line continues into the next line seamlessly without any comma. And a reason why maybe the poet has used enjambment in this poem is because he wants to say that the observation of Speck in this poem is continuous and he isn't undisturbed. So maybe that is why there aren't any stanzas in this poem. Okay. So if you see in the first 9 lines, the rhyming scheme is A, A, B, B, C, C, D, E, D type of rhyming. See, sight, white, there, air, ink, think. Right? Okay, so this type of rhyming scheme is followed until here. Okay, a speck that would have been beneath my sight on any but a paper sheet so white. So, what is the poet saying? I would not be able to detect or I would not be able to perceive a speck that was so tiny if it was on any other sheet of paper, but this sheet of paper was so white. So because of the stark contrast between the dust and the sheet of paper, he was able to perceive it or see it. Set off across what I had written there, and I had idly poised my pen in air. Okay. So the poet is saying the speck was across his written content. So he was writing something. So it was across his written content, and the poet had idly poised my pen in air. So he's saying he had suspended his pen in midair and was about to stop it with a period of ink. So he was saying maybe he was about to use the terminating punctuation, which is full stop. Or maybe it could mean that he was about to squash that speck of dust that was on his sheet of paper. When something strange about it made me think, this was no dust speck but my breathing blown, but unmistakably a living might. So, what is he saying? That, but something strange made him contemplate. Think is contemplate that this was not any dust speck that had wafted across his page due to the air of his breathing. So when we breathe out, we blow out air. So he said, no, this is not a dust speck that was blown because of my breathing, but it is definitely a living mind. So he's saying, obviously, it's a living mind that was traversing through his page. So that was moving through his page in a self-directed purpose. So he was saying he was not aimlessly moving around the living mind, but it was going with some purpose. So in the next few lines, we can see an AABCD type of rhyming scheme, and here personification and imagery is used, where a person-like traits are used to describe the mind. It paused as if with suspicion of my pen and then came racing wildly on again. So here imagery is used for you to maybe imagine the process better. So such words are used. So that is imagery. So it is saying the mind paused as if it was skeptical of the pen and then it scurried rapidly on again. So where did it scurry rapidly on? To where the manuscript was not yet dry. So to where the manuscript was still damp. Then paused again and either drank or smelt with loathing, for again it turned to fly. Okay. So then it paused again. See how elaborately the poet has described the movements of the mite. And again, drank or smelt. So it is saying either the mite drank or smelt the ink and then with loathing. So he found it revolting or he found it noxious, or maybe because of the noxious smell of the ink, or maybe because of the noxious taste, for again it turned to fly. So it retreated from that place. Okay. Plainly with an intelligence I dealt, it seemed too tiny to have room for feet, yet must have had a set of them complete. So here anthropomorphism is used, where human attributes are given to animals like intelligence, which usually we don't consider animals to have. That is called anthropomorphism. Okay. So he's saying that he dealt with an intelligent creature that was acting intentionally. It was not just going anywhere without any intentions. It had a purpose. And he said the feet seemed too minuscule. The dust mite was so small that it seemed that it would not have any feet. But definitely, the way it was moving about, he says that it would definitely have a set of them complete. To express how much it did not want to die, it ran with terror and with cunning crept. Okay, so from this line, free flow is starting. Free flow is no rhyming scheme is followed. So the poet is saying to in order to evade death, it ran with terror. So it ran with fear, and also it was very cunning. Cunning is sly. So it ran with terror and with cunning crept. It faltered. I could see it hesitate. So he's saying finally it lost momentum. And I could see it hesitate means he was reluctant about something, as if maybe deliberating what to do next. Then, in the middle of the open sheet, power down in desperation to accept whatever I accorded it to fate. Okay. So, the poet says that when it reached the middle of the sheet, it crouched down as if it is surrendering itself to the poet, accepting any fate that it was granted by the poet. I have none of the tenderer than thou, collectivistic regimenting love, with which the modern world is being swept. Okay. So the speaker says that he does not have any excessive sentimental or maybe a very gentle nature. That is why it is called tenderer than thou. He's saying he does not have a very gentle nature, neither does he have a very collectivistic regimenting love. What is collectivistic? Where a single person's feeling is not given importance for that of the entire group. That is called collectivistic. And regimenting love means the very controlling type of nature, that is regimenting. So he's saying he neither has this gentle nature nor does he have this very controlling collectivistic love, which the modern world is being swept by. So most of the people in the modern world are following this kind of love, but he does not have either of it. But this poor microscopic item now, since it was nothing I knew evil of, I let it lie there till I hope it slept. Okay. So now the poet is feeling pity for the small creature. So that's why saying poor microscopic item. Since it was nothing I know evil of. See, I know that this dust mite means no evil towards me or does not intend to harm me. So I let it lie there till it was in peace or till he slept or it slept. I have a mind myself and recognize mind when I meet with it in any guise. No one can know how glad I am to find on any sheet the least display of mine. So if you see again, there's an AABB type of rhyming scheme followed. So finally, the poet says that he is intelligent and imaginative enough. So he has a mind enough to recognize other intelligent beings, even if it is in any form, however small it might be. He's saying he's able to recognize intelligence because he himself is intelligent and imaginative. And also, the poet expresses joy. He's saying how glad, how happy I am to find on any sheet the least display of mine. So he's saying that this is the smallest exhibit of intelligence on any writing paper. So he's happy that he found the smallest display of intelligence. So this is the entire poem. And now let's look at the theme of the poem. So the theme is appreciating imagination and intelligence wherever they are found or however small the creature might be. So he's appreciating imagination and intelligence in even a small dust mite which otherwise we would not even pay attention to. Finding significance even in insignificant things that we would otherwise pay no heed in normal life. So we should find significance even in insignificant things that we do not pay much attention to otherwise. The poet also tried to portray that the world is now moving towards collectivistic love rather than appreciating individuals. Hence, how individual thoughts and perspectives should also be represented. So, the poet had mentioned, right, that we are moving towards a very collectivistic, regimenting love. So, we should also pay attention to the thoughts and perspectives of individuals. Also, showing empathy to all life forms, no matter how seemingly insignificant they might appear. See, many a times we squash an ant or any other animal which we think is too tiny. So he is showing empathy to all life forms, saying that did not hurt me, so I don't think I should hurt it. So that same empathy is the theme that we all should follow. So I hope you have understood this poem. Thank you.